my stamping friends, happy Monday. It's Christine from Christine's Stamping Spot back with you for our Mystery Monday video today. I hope you all had a wonderful Easter last weekend. I wasn't here last Monday. It was Easter Monday here and I was cooking for our family. So I hope you all had a wonderful holiday and found lots of colorful Easter eggs. I know the Easter Bunny stopped by here too a little bit. Okay, so today we are going to take a look at this textured notes. Well, we're going to use the bundle, but it's actually part of a big suite that is in the online exclusives. Now, if you don't ever go to that page, you can click on the shop products and the online exclusives should show up there. And those are basically a number of new items that are added every few months that aren't in a publication like one of our catalogs. So there are some wonderful products on there that sometimes get overlooked. So this is one of them, and this I believe came out in March this year, and we are going to have another launch of some newer products, new and more online exclusives coming the beginning of May. So check out those. So I just wanted to quickly show you what is part of this suite. So we have this stamp set, textured notes, with some really cute greetings, or nice, just simple greetings actually. And then it comes with, if you get the bundle, you get the stamp set and these dies. Are these just not the cat's meow? These are beautiful. And I don't know if you can see, but there are different little embossed designs in each of these dies. Some of them are the same, but there is such a variety that when you cut them out, you get all these different borders, and they're just so great. So if anything, definitely get these dies because you could use them on a variety of different projects. Okay, so those are the dies. And then you get this fun corrugated embossing folder, which looks like this. It's a 3D embossing folder. Now, some of you, and this is going way back, do you remember when Stampin' Up! Had their crimper? Well, that did the same sort of job, but now we just have it in an embossing folder, and it's really a lovely folder. So we have that, and then we have some beautiful white ribbon. I believe it's a 1/4 inch, but it's almost like a linen or something. It's very soft, and I think will tie very nicely. So that's part of the suite. And then you also get these embellishments, neutral matte dots, which are so great for very neutral cards. This suite for me is a very masculine suite, and I think we can make some really great masculine cards with this suite. So these can be used on so many other projects as well. And then finally, you have two, not one, but two designer papers in the suite. So this one is called Botanical Textures. It's black and white. 12 pages, 6 of 2 designs, and I know Sarah, our CEO, loves black and white, so she may have had a little bit to do with this, I'm not sure. But I'll just quickly go through the patterns. So you've got this one, and then we have this sort of, I don't know, is that like a night sky or something? And then this one, so some really bold kind of black patterns, and this one, and then this one, which is kind of like almost a whitewash or something, and then this one as well with the speckles. And then on the back you've got some of these botanicals. So you have these ones which pretty much match these botanicals in the stamp set right here. Okay, so you've got some of those showing up in the paper. And then you've got this one, which is also similar in the black, the white on the black, and here you have the black on the white. And then this one, which is lovely. Again, that same image, pretty much right here, is on the paper, so it all coordinates, which is amazing. and then this one, and then finally this one, which I love. I think this is great. And this one, you could even color some of these images in with your blends or markers if you wanted to just add a little bit of pop of color. So that's the first designer paper. And then the second is the woven textures. I love this paper. I did a class on the weekend and we did use this, and I'm going to show you the sample that we made at the end of the video, just so you see. But this one, you've got this pattern, which almost looks like a Berber kind of carpet to me. And then you have this one, which is like a woven pattern again, an espresso. And you have this one, which is lovely. And then this was like you're looking into a basket, or you're looking at the lid of a basket, right? And then on the back, we have this kind of woven pattern. This is beautiful. This is like a linen to me, a very light, soft linen, which would be a lovely background. And then you have this texture and the tweed, which is also lovely. Now you may have noticed there are only 4 different patterns. And what's unique about this particular package of designer paper is you still get 12 sheets. However, you get 3 of each of these designs instead of 2. So instead of 6 patterns and 2 of each, you get 4 patterns and 3 of each. So that's really, really awesome. So let's get going on our project today. And it is this one. Okay, so we are incorporating the bundle in this card and some of the designer paper. So I have started, or we will start, with a piece of early espresso as our base. And I mean, these can be, masculine or feminine cards, or just, whatever. But I just think the very neutral color palette is great for masculine cards. Okay, so we have that. And then we have a piece of crumb cake, which I'm going to put on here. And I will post all these measurements, so you don't have to worry about that. This is our usual 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, so I'll add that on. And then we're going to add some designer papers. So I chose to go on my sample with this sort of Berber pattern. I'm going to flip it this time and use this tweed. I love this tweed as well. Like, it's so hard to decide which pattern to use because they're all so great. So we're just going to have the same card design, but switch up this DSP a bit, which is always a nice alternative. Okay, so we have that. And then I did use that corrugated embossing folder. Can you see those ridges here? That's how this comes out. I ran this through with the early espresso. And again, I think I've mentioned this before, but because you have these lines, I'm assuming you would probably want them to come out fairly straight. So I mentioned this before. This black line is your guide to getting your embossing folders to come straight. So what you would do is you would feed or place your paper on that black line, which is kind of hard to see through here, but you would put it on that black line, if you can see it here. You see how the edge is lined up on this black line, and then your line should come out straight. You could put a little bit of adhesive or something, or clamp this closed if you were worried, but just put a little bit of pressure on it and it should stay in place. So that is what that black line is for. Okay, so let's put this on at the bottom of our card. And I'm just using regular adhesive for this. And we're just going to have a little bit of that crumb cake showing as our border. Okay, so I'll do that. And then I have this piece of that Woven Textures designer paper. Again, it's double-sided, so you could do this one or this one. Maybe I'll do this one this time. That looks kind of fun. Okay, let's do that. Let's the same pieces, we're just flipping them over. So that's how versatile our designer papers can be. They're awesome. Okay, so that is our base. Okay, so now we're going to do a bit of stamping here like I did here. So I'm just going to set that aside. So here I did use those dies to cut out a piece of the Very Vanilla. Okay, so you can see this is the type, this is the design of that border on this particular die. Okay, so we're going to do some stamping. So we're going to take this tree image, or the stump, I guess, of the tree, and I'm going to just ink that up in crumb cake. Okay, it's going to come out a little light, which is fine. I just sort of want it as a subtle addition here. So we'll stamp that. And the stamp set is not the photopolymer, but our regular foam pads or stamps. Okay, and then I am going to bring in some old olive for some leaves. And these are all from the stamp set. So the first one, I'm going to do full strength ink, and I'm going to put it maybe just over this stump, maybe kind of like this. And then I'm not going to ink it again, but I am going to stamp again, and we will put this one up here. So it's going to come out a little bit lighter, but that's the contrast that I was looking for. Okay, I think they call that 2-generation stamping maybe, or 2nd-generation stamping, I'm not sure. All right, so now this leaf here, which is this stamp, I stamped this in Mossy Meadow ink on Very Vanilla, and you can see these leaves here are open, like they have no filling or filler to them. So when they stamp, it's just going to be the outline that you get, right? So what I did was, now this, because there's no die for these, just the rectangles, I fussy cut this out. Okay, so let me get that for you. I fussy cut it out, but what I did with those outline images, so for example, this is one, and this is one, and this is one, I just colored it in with my light Mossy Meadow blend because I didn't want the vanilla showing personally. I mean, you might be fine with it just as is, but I decided just to color it all in, so it's all colored in, all of the leaves were colored in. Okay, so that's if you're wondering, wow, her image doesn't look like the stamp. Well, that's what I did, is I just colored in these outline leaves right there. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So we are gonna, let me see, I think what I'm gonna do is put this on top of our base right away, and then we will add all of these other pieces. Okay, so you could pop this up on a dimensionals if you wanted. I am just going to leave it flat. Okay, like so. And then let's add this with some mini dimensionals. Okay, so you can add as many as you like. Oops, let's try to get these on. A fair number of these leaves, and these minis are just the right size. They don't seem to peek through the other side, which is awesome. And you don't, I mean, some of them are so small you can't get one on, but as long as you get them on the larger leaves, that's probably good. I think that should be fine. That should hold. Okay, so let's take these off. Little backers. Okay, there we go. All right, now just be aware, because this is fussy cut, it's a very delicate when you cut, you know, you've got this stem, so just be a little bit careful when you're handling it so it doesn't tear. So this one, I'm just going to sort of pop up in between those other two, like right about there. Now you don't have to fussy cut. I have seen some samples with this set where they just stamp all the leaves on top of each other, and that's fine too. If you used a darker ink, you would get that separation of color. But I just kind of like the look of this sort of popping up. Okay, so then I stamped a little note of appreciation, and we've got a thank you. You are seriously the best. Okay, and again, I used one of the dies, which has a different pattern, more of a stitched pattern along the outside. And I'm just going to add a little bit of linen thread to the back of it. You could wrap it around one of the layers. I'm just going to sort of tie it on this back. Let's see if I can get it to stay. So I'm just going to wrap it around my fingers and then sort of pinch it together. Okay. Oh, it's not quite what I wanted it to look like. Oh dear. Let's start over. Okay. Depends. I don't even know how long this piece is. I just sort of randomly cut a piece from the spool. So we'll just sort of tuck these ends or trim them off after. That's fine. Okay, so let's just put this back here on some adhesive. Okay, so it's going to just kind of hang over like that, which is fine. I'm fine with that. And then I'm going to pop this up on some dimensionals, just some regular ones. And I always put one on because that gives it an extra little bit of security, hopefully. And I might actually put an extra one on top of this one. I don't know if I have to, but let's do it. You can always take it off. Okay, and then this, I'm going to just cover this stem. Okay, so the bottom is a little bit loopier than the top, but oh well. It's the way it goes. Maybe I'll overlap it over here. That still works, like so. And last thing is adding some of these gems. So they are the neutral matte dots, and they come like this. And you get four different colors. You've got kind of more the white vanilla, the black, the crumb cake, and I believe this is pecan pie. So this, on my sample, I did pecan pie. Should I use something different here? I don't know. I don't want the black. I don't think I want this one. This one would be okay, but I'm still drawn to this pecan. I think it just pops up a little bit better with these particular colors. So let's just go again with this. That's fine. And they are two different sizes, so that's awesome. And there you go. Same design, just flipped around some of that Designer Series paper to give it a little bit of a different look. And I love this suite. I just think you can do so many different designs with this particular suite, and you're going to see tons of them on Pinterest if you go in and take a look. So I hope you give it a try. And like I say, you don't have to buy the whole suite. I just wanted to show you all the pieces that are part of it, but you can order just the stamp set. You can order just the dies, which are fabulous, or just the paper, one of the papers. Like you still have that option, right? But I just love this. I think it's great. And this, I wanted to show you the card I did at the class. Was this one. This was inspired by Akiko Sudano, I believe. And so here you can see I use those dies on some of the other layers in here, which was really neat. And here on my greeting I did. And if you're wondering where these cattails came from, this is not from this Woven Textures suite. This is actually from the Charming Duck Pond bundle, these cattails and this greeting. It's actually a bundle that's retiring and is on the last chance list. So if you like that, that's where those came from. And this paper here, unfortunately, is now sold out, but it was the Pebbled Path in color that I used here because I loved the contrast and how that popped. But as an alternative, you could use like a basic gray if you wanted. That's a nice dark gray too. And that's the same colors I used in for my cattails as well with the crumb cakes. So this was one of our projects at my workshop this weekend. So if you're interested in getting on my mailing list to learn about future classes or happenings, just feel free to email me or check out my website, and we'd love to have you join in on a future event. All right, I will let you go for today. So I hope you enjoyed that project, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.